Hi there, my name's Tammy, and what I was going to talk to you about this week is something I saw on a lot of social media sites, and it was make a living as a full-time artist selling your art. I also saw that on YouTube video headings, and I thought, well, what does that mean? Because to me, the definition of a full-time artist is someone who spends close to 100% of their time making art and close to 100% of their money from selling art. And for the majority of the time that I've been alive, what that actually meant was someone who had prior connections to the art world, maybe someone in the gallery or who was already an artist that was a friend of theirs or family member. It might be someone who made connections while they were in art school or in getting a college degree in art, and they made connections that way. It could be someone who lived in an area with a large following for a community and that sold and had art shows. So something like that. Or even an outlier like, off the top of my head, Cesar Santos, who makes such good portraits that actually his clients come looking for him. But that's not most of us. Most of us live in a place nobody knows who we are. Few local people may know we're an artist. We have a little bit of a following on social media, but they're not people looking to buy art. And there's no large art community close by. So I thought, well, what could that actually mean? What would I think that means? Especially now that the internet has really opened things up. And I, of course, knew I'd have to make art, but I'd need to promote my art on 3 or 4 social media sites. Let people know I'm there, let people know I have something for sale. Set up a shop, perhaps something that has some traffic that already comes to it, such as Etsy or Saatchi, and also provides customers with a little bit of a safety net so they won't feel like they're going to get cheated. And you might set up a website. A payment, some way to get payments, something reputable so people feel comfortable using whatever payment option you have. And then educate myself and understand how to pack and ship. That would be very important. But I could see that it would not be that easy, or that nobody would be having ads for this. But I want you to pay money. They would actually, anybody could think of it and nobody's going to care. So I thought, well, I'm not paying for that, so I'm going to look into it myself and see what exactly artists who, for as far as I can see, seem to be doing really well. They have a large following. They appear to be making their money from their art. That's what they're saying they're doing. So I started looking at several artists. A couple of them I already followed, and then I looked up several others. And I heard the word multiple streams of income. Now, I've heard that word, but I didn't know exactly what it meant if you were an artist. And what I found was that, of course, there's art, but they're making YouTube videos, Patreon, enhanced prints, merch or prints, stickers, cards, could be just about anything. They have vlogs, podcasts, and Skillshare or some other site where they're uploading classes that people can pay to take. And I thought, well, why would an artist need a YouTube video or make YouTube videos? And I found that that's to put a face and a personality on you and your art. Also, YouTube pays for your YouTube videos if you can get enough followers and enough views. And that's one of your streams of income. And you have to actually make these things interesting, because people are not going to come to see you stand there like a car salesman and say, hey, here's what I got, and come buy it. No, these have to be interesting videos that someone would want to see in order to build this following. And then you have Patreon. Well, to me, for many years, what Patreon was, someone would pay you and not expect very much for that money, just to help you keep your art career and maybe your YouTube channel going. But that's not what it seems to be anymore. You have to make videos with exclusive content. There's also tutorials, art processes, liens, and as these levels go up, so do the stakes for what you've promised these people. You may have to send mail, schedule Zoom meetings, live broadcasts where you can talk to people and they can talk back to you. And long gone are the days that anybody's just going to pay you just to help you out. And most of these Patreons also have a Discord that has to be seen about and kept up with so you can interact with people. Then there was the word enhanced prints. And basically, I didn't know what that was, but it was taking one of their own prints, putting it on a board or a canvas, and then adding to that with texture, more paint, maybe glitter, just depending on what the kind of people you're selling art to would be interested in. Then you've got your merch, prints and stickers and whatnot. All that's got to be seen about. And from what I found, that most people would rather not use print on demand because you don't really have any control over the quality and your profits are very small. So they want to have their own prints and stickers that they can check on the quality of them, as well as have most of the profit for themselves. And I figure everybody knows what a podcast is. And then most people know what a vlog is, as far as letting people see what you do from day to day. And that could be anything from pouring your coffee, peeling a grape, washing your dishes. I've seen everything on those vlogs. Though I personally would not be interested in watching them, I see that there's plenty of people who are, because some of these vlogs have hundreds of thousands of views and quite a few subscribers. So evidently there's a whole group of people who like to watch vlogs. That's another way to make your income. Then you have Skillshare, which is for putting out classes, and there's a host of platforms that you can put up a class and somebody actually comes and pays for that class. Well, when I looked at all that, I thought, well, how much time would it take me to actually keep these things up and running? What would that actually entail? And I saw right off the bat that anything that has to be filmed, such as Skillshare, classes, YouTube, Patreon, any of those tutorials, art processes, anything that has to be filmed is going to have to be planned, filmed, and edited and uploaded. And I've only made a couple of YouTube videos, and I can tell you that right there is no joke. That is a daunting task. Then you've got for photographing. You've got to photograph anything you sell, and it's all got to be color corrected. That's a skill in its own and a job by itself. And it's not just one time. If you're going to make prints or stickers, you may have to go back and do other color corrections to make it look good in the format you're planning to sell it on. Then you have to keep up with all the inventory for that. Because when you have something in your shop, you need to have it right on hand, ready to ship the minute you get the order. You've got making enhanced prints, something else that's going to take up a bit of your time. Whether it's making something that you buy just as is in the shop, or if it's a custom item, then you have to take time to get with those customers and see what they want, have a meeting of the minds, and then you can get started. You're going to have to plan out all those tutorials, art process videos, and they've all got to be edited. Like I said, I've already told you that's a daunting task, just that little bit right there. And you've got to mail any perks, schedule any Zoom classes, whatever you have promised your patrons. And then the Discord, you don't just open it and leave it, you also have to interact on that. You'll need to watch what's going on over there, make sure there's nothing inappropriate going on. And then that's just for that little bit right there. But then you've got your advertising. And when I said, post to some social media sites, interact a little bit, let people know what you have, it's not like that anymore. You also have things like Instagram stories, you've got tweets, and these tweets need to be clever or interesting so that someone will click back onto your account and find that you make YouTube videos or that you have art for sale. Now you have TikTok, something else to be planned and filmed, YouTube Shorts, and you've got to plan that out because you're going to have to get a point across really quickly. They're shorts. And then keep up with anything new that's coming on in social media. You don't want to have everyone going ahead of you and getting their names out there, and you have no presence on whatever the newest, latest, greatest thing is. Then you have to also check on all your shops and websites, keep them updated. Customers don't like it when they come to a shop and find that it hasn't been updated in months. Keep up with all the inventory that you're selling, any physical product. Get orders, get them ready to be packed and shipped. Also, deal with your mail service, however you're going to ship things. And the next thing I noticed, that is so much work, I didn't see how anybody would have time to do all of this by themselves. And many of the artists are not. They have someone working with them, like a spouse, a family member, or a friend. And even a few of them that I looked at had hired someone to help them with some of these jobs. Anything the artist could delegate, such as working on the shop, posting things to the shop, taking the orders, editing the films or videos that they were going to post, as well as photographing, color correcting, getting all that sort of thing ready. So they're not making most of their money off of actually making new original art. And that's not what I wanted to do at all. For me, that would seem like I would be an artist who's running a business and who's making art on the side. I didn't want that for me as the way I'm making a living. Because I had also noted that plenty of the artists that do seem to have this up and running and are making a living from these multiple streams of income also are posting in their videos that they're tired, they need to take a break, they're feeling burnout, because this goes on and on. Every week you have a new video going up on, for instance, YouTube. You have all these things that you have to keep going monthly on Patreon, as well as the social media side of it, the podcasts, and these things have to be different. It's not like you could post something on each one of these platforms, the same thing, because people are only going to watch it on one platform, and you need it to be watched on all of them. So you have to change it up and provide something new with each video that you put out there, for the most part. Because I wouldn't listen to a podcast if I just heard what was going on the YouTube. I wouldn't pay for Patreon if I just heard them do the exact same thing on their YouTube channel for free. Most people wouldn't. So I definitely see why they're burned out. I see why they're having trouble keeping up with all this, and they're talking about wanting to take a vacation or wanting to take some time off. And I believe it, because now you have all your income coming from these multiple streams of income, and you're depending on these, so you're afraid to take off. You're afraid to leave this for 2 weeks, because you may come back and now you've got 2 weeks worth of something that you have no money coming in, or your followers have moved along. It would scare a person to death. But this is not, when I looked into that and I saw what I would have to do to actually make a living nowadays, it's not that first definition of just make art and sell it. It's get these multiple streams of income going on. That was not for me. And anybody that is doing that, I definitely am cheering you on. Take my hat off to you, because you have more fortitude than I do to keep up with this. You certainly are more creative than I am, because I couldn't even think of enough stuff to keep all this going on all the time. And planning out these classes, I just can't imagine it. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know, if you have thought about and seen those ads for be a full-time artist, make a living by selling your art, there's a whole lot more to it. You'll want to check all this out for yourself. I just found my old list and thought I would share it with you, and some of the reason why I didn't go any further with that art business idea. Because first off, I had art block, but I could have gotten past that. I could have pushed myself and gotten on with what needed to be done there. But there's no way I could keep up with all this and have time to think, to compose, and to execute any kind of art. I just would not have time. I would be running all the time trying to keep these multiple streams of income going, because I would definitely need them. They would be the bulk of my income, and they just weren't for me. They may be for you, and if they are, I'm cheering you on 100%. How you would do it, I don't know, but you got one cheerleader right here at Tambo Artwork. And I think that's probably all you'd want to hear about all this stuff. If you've tried any of this, even just to pick and choose an assortment of these that you've dipped your toe in, feel free to leave me a comment. But for me, this is just would not work out, and it's not whatever I wanted to do. That's not what that sentence even meant to me, and it may not to a lot of people. There's just a whole lot going on here, especially when you hit that word, multiple streams of income. Well, I'm going to get back to my painting. I'm going to try to have this elf done, ready for next video I make. It's coming along, but it's pretty complicated, at least for me. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to leave you in peace, and with the hope that your creative light continues to shine bright. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.